Hello and welcome to Man's Model Moments. In this video I'm going to be looking at the Bard subclass from the expert classes in the 1D&D Unearthed Arcana playtest material. I have videos on the other subclasses which are linked here, as well as an overall video which combines all these three together with some discussion on the expert classes and other small features in general. Now of course this is the second release, so the first release covers some of the basics. If you haven't seen that yet, I'll link it above for you to have a look at. So let's talk about Bards. So Bards make up, if you look at D&D Beyond statistics, about 7% of single class characters, and the Lore Bard, which is the only one described here, makes up about 59% of that. So it's about 4% of the overall single class, because this doesn't include multi-classes. So there are certain things with Bards that haven't changed at all. I'm not going to talk about really the stuff that hasn't changed. So hit dice, armor, tools, saving throws, skills are basically untouched. They're exactly the same as they are in the player's handbook. The first thing that changes is in their weapon proficiencies. So now it is only simple weapons. So bards lose access to hand crossbows, longswords, rapiers and short swords. That immediately is going to cause a lot of consternation to a lot of bards losing rapiers, which are by far and away probably the best and most commonly used weapon for bards. And also, hand crossbows, you're losing that. I've played a bard, he did use a hand crossbow, so that build would not be viable in 1D&D as it is presented at the moment. Fairly minor, though. Bards are not combat-oriented in that way, so this is a very minor impact. So let's get on to spellcasting. And this is where we come into the first of the big changes. So bards know 4 first-level spells from the bard spell list in addition to cantrips. This has changed now to the UA where you can prepare 2 0-level spells, cantrips, and 2 first-level spells. And you can prepare any spell from the arcane list, but it must be from divination, enchantment, illusion, or transmutation. That is quite different, and we'll have to see, and the devil's in the detail here, and I don't really want to get into that level of detail here, but broadly speaking, those are going to be a similar set of spells, but the main thing is now that you can change those spells basically any time you take a long rest. That gives a lot more breadth to what you can have. Before bards were very limited in their numbers of spells. Is it a good or a bad thing? I'm not sure, really. Only being able to prepare 2 first-level spells is quite restrictive for a first-level character. Obviously, you can't cast many spells as a first-level character, but unless you know what you're going to be facing, restricting it to just 2 is, pretty narrow. Having said that, broadening out the choice of spells available when you take a rest does kind of counterbalance this. So this is a change. I don't know whether it's good or bad. I think it would really need, actual play testing side by side to be able to get the true impact of that. Now, of course, spellcasting ability is unchanged. Spellcasting focus, still a musical instrument, so that hasn't changed. Next we come to bardic inspiration. So this is a core piece of the bard's mechanics. So in 5th you can inspire others, you can use a bonus action to give a d6 to somebody within 60 feet and they can use it within the next 10 minutes. That now has changed to when another creature within 60 feet of you that you can see or hear fails a d20 test, you can use your reaction to give that creature your bardic inspiration die to use. That is actually quite a change in mechanic. I've got the feeling it reduces the utility of it. In combat, typically you might give somebody a bonus action inspiration and then you're going to do something. And then the next round you can do it again to somebody else. Using a reaction now means that it happens at that time. What happens has to happen within 60 feet of you. And that's used your reaction, so no opportunity attacks. So it's a change, for sure, and I'm not really sure what's driving it, because I don't see people on forums and certainly in my games complaining about bardic inspiration. So why they've chosen to change something which isn't broken, I really don't know. However, you do get an extra ability with bardic inspiration now, and that is heal. So immediately after another creature within 60 feet of you that you can see or hear takes damage, you can use your reaction to roll your Bardic Inspiration die and restore a number of hit points to the creature equal to the number rolled. Now, this is not the same as cutting words. So here you are actually restoring hit points. That potentially means that somebody could go down and you could restore hit points to them so they didn't. That is actually quite a good bonus ability, but it does change the flavour of the Bard a little bit more to the healer. And you'll see a couple of pieces along the way here that also strengthen that feeling. So I'm not sure that's a change that people will embrace or not. Obviously, Bards are able to heal, but that's a minor ability of theirs. Those healing word desperation kind of heals rather than, a big healer like a life cleric. As far as the number of times that you can use Bardic Inspiration, that has also changed. Previously, obviously, it was linked to your Charisma modifier. Now it is related to your proficiency bonus. I like the general idea of linking things to proficiency bonus. I think restricting that, so that means you get 2 uses at first level. Whereas pretty much most builds are going to have at least a 16 Charisma as a Bard at first level, so that's 3 uses, so that's nerfing that a little bit. I'm not quite sure how that is going to play out. I don't think it's going to make a massive difference, but again, it does feel like a little bit of a nerf. The actual dice for Bardic Inspiration haven't changed, nor when they actually increase in level. That is all staying the same. Jack of all trades, however, which previously you got at 2nd level, you now don't get until 5th level. And again, I don't really see the point here. It was always only half of your proficiency bonus. So at 2nd level, you're only getting +1 on things that you don't have proficiency in. Starting at 5th level, I mean, that's quite a number of levels that you're not getting that use, where you could probably really use it. And Bards are skill monkeys. And that seems to be taking away from that core piece of their ability. So not quite sure why that has been done. Another big change is in the Song of Rest. So Song of Rest, previously, when you took a rest, you could do a performance and everybody got extra hit points. D6, D8, D10, D12, depending on level. Forget that. You do not get that ability at all anymore. That is gone. So now what you get is almost like cleric domain spells. You just get Songs of Restoration. So they're always prepared, so they're like domain spells. That doesn't count against the number of spells you can prepare. But you've still got to use your resources to cast those. That is a huge nerf, especially at low levels. Because before, if you did a rest and people could regain hit dice and get these extra hit points, which were quite a lot. If you think you're rolling a D8 or even a D6 for your hit dice, and you're getting an extra D6, that's a big deal, at low levels. Now, no, you always get healing word. And again, this kind of goes back into what I was saying about pushing it more into sort of a healer focus, but they don't really have the other abilities to back that up, and they're skill monkeys, so they're focused on doing other stuff. So pushing them into this kind of mono healing piece seems a big change. I don't like it personally. I think if I played a Bard, that would kind of piss me off. Okay, now we go on to Magical Inspiration, which is an optional rule in 5th E, so I'm not going to be too harsh on this. If a creature has Bardic Inspiration from you and casts a spell that restores hit points or deals damage, the creature can roll that die and choose a target affected by the spell and add to that effect. So it's a bit of bonus healing. That's kind of incorporated into the heal use of Bardic Inspiration now, sort of a part of it, but really it doesn't exist in this iteration. 3rd level, you have to choose your Bard College. That is unchanged. And now we go on to the level progression pieces. What happens at what level? So at 3rd level, you got to choose Expertise. This now happens at 2nd level. Previously, you also got an additional Expertise at 10th. That now happens at 9th. So that is a boost. So you're getting Expertise and a couple of proficiencies a level earlier, which covers a little bit some of the loss that you're getting from Jack of all trades. So, but it's more specialised, and it was something you were getting already. You just have to wait a level for it. I'm not sure that's going to cover those low-level pieces. Ability score improvement is the same That is unchanged in the new edition when, of course, now it's feats, including the ability score feat. The Bardic Versatility option that you would have had previously, again, optionally in 5th, where you can relearn a different spell, that's kind of replaced now, because obviously that doesn't exist because you can change your spells up every rest anyway, so it really doesn't matter. I mean, for me, this takes a little bit of the flavour out of the Bard, because now you can choose any spell. All Bards get access to the same spells, basically. So for me, that is making it a little bit blander, in the name of choice. So for me, good game design gives you difficult choices to make. Anything where you have a difficult or meaningful choice to make is a good thing and feels good. Good game mechanics where you feel that, it's like, do I take this or do I take that? I really don't know. Now, it doesn't matter for your spells because all Bards get the same. Essentially, from what this document is showing us so far, anything in the arcane list that falls in those specific groups, divination, enchantment, etc., you can prep. So it doesn't really matter what you've chosen. So for me, okay, gives you greater access to spells, but reduces the flavour of your character. It depersonalises it almost by making all of them able to do the same thing. Then we go on to Font of Inspiration. That begins when you reach 5th level, and you regain all expended uses of Bardic Inspiration when you finish a short or long rest. That now happens at 7th level. So again, they've pushed that out a couple of levels. And again, I don't really understand why that's been pushed out a couple of extra levels, especially when, at lower levels, you really need those to come back. The other thing is they kind of balanced that a little bit. So they made the ability a bit better, because if a creature rolls your Bardic Inspiration and rolls a 1, after any rerolls they might have, then the use of that Bardic Inspiration isn't expended. So basically, if you get a shit roll, you basically can ignore it. So you get a free point. It's not really very much. It's a tiny increase for quite a big decrease. On the whole, I prefer to have the unchanged ability at 5th level. Counter Charm. Obviously, in 5th edition at 6th level, you were able to produce a performance that would give people advantage on saving throws against being frightened or charmed. That's just gone. Nope, you don't get Counter Charm now. My party, in my current campaign, has a Bard, a Law Bard, who has used Counter Charm, which has been important in certain elements. They just wouldn't get this now. So that's obviously just a straight nerf. And then we come to Magical Secrets. So Magical Secrets are where Bards can basically choose spells from other spell lists. Here you got 5th edition, you got to do it at 10th, 14th and 18th level. Now, it only happens at 11th and 15th, so there's only 2 instances of Magical Secrets. But basically now it's broader. So you can choose a spell list, Arcane, Divine or Primal. And when you prepare spells, up to 2 spells, you prepare from the chosen list from any school of magic. That broadens what type of spell you can get a lot. And of course you can change those on a rest. So you don't get as much, but you get access to a huge amount more spells. And again, I get the choice element, but again, it makes it feel less personalised. So why is my Bard different from, another player's Bard? This erodes that difference, so I don't know whether I really like that either, that flavour. And now at 20th level, you get Superior Inspiration in 5th edition. So this is where you roll initiative and don't have any uses of Bardic Inspiration. You gain 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration dice. This has been massively increased. So now this happens at 18th level, 2 levels before. And it's just when you roll initiative, so it doesn't matter if you don't have any left or not. If you've still got some left, that's fine. But you regain 2 expended uses of your Bardic Inspiration. So that's really good. However, it's happening at such a late level. I mean, most players don't play above 14th, 15th level. Generally, most campaigns finish at that kind of level. So this higher level tier is a bit theory crafting, because most people never get there. Most of the level 20 characters on D&D Beyond are people theory crafting. And the other difference now is that 20th level, instead of that Superior Inspiration, which you gained 2 levels before, you gain a boon, an epic boon, which of course is, again, a big increase. But again, who's playing 20th level characters? So this is going to affect very few people. So overall, you're getting quite a few nerfs in the class with a few little extra bonuses. Overall, I feel that Bards have gone down a little bit, especially at lower levels, and I don't really know why. So I feel that they've been reduced in power a little bit and made a bit more bland in the name of giving them more choice. So let's specifically look now at the Law Bard. So when you join the college, you get proficiency with 3 skills of your choice, and that is unchanged. And then you also get cutting words. So previously, when a creature within 60 feet of you makes an attack roll, an ability check, or a damage roll, you can use your reaction to expend a bardic inspiration and reduce that from that number. When a creature you can see within 60 feet of you succeeds on an ability check or an attack roll, you can use your reaction to expend one of your uses of bardic inspiration, rolling bardic inspiration die and subtracting the number rolled from the creature's roll, potentially turning it into a failure. So you don't get to change damage now. So you can use it to heal as that reaction, because that's a core part of the mechanic now for a bard. So basically, everybody kind of gets a bit of the cutting words with that heal piece, kind of. So it's reduced the effectiveness of cutting words a little bit, but otherwise it's pretty much unchanged. Then we get the additional magical secrets. So Law Bards at 6th level get to learn an extra 2 spells from. That's just gone. You don't get that. Instead, what you get is cunning inspiration. Through your studies and your cunning, you've learned to inspire others exceptionally well. Basically, you just get to use essentially an advantaged inspiration dice. So you get to roll 2 dice and use the higher 2 rolls. That seems... it's okay, but it's not great. What you do get, however, at 10th level, something that you weren't getting before, is improved cutting words. Now, when you use cutting words on a creature, you get to deal psychic damage equal to that number plus your charisma modifier. That's pretty good. So cutting words now, as well as potentially making that a failure, you can also harm that creature. It's just a shame that isn't also on the reducing damage. And at 14th level, you get Peerless Skill. So basically, you can use Bardic Inspiration on yourself. In the UA, it is when you make an ability check and fail, you can expend 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration and add the number to your ability check. And if it fails, the Bardic Inspiration isn't expended. So that's much better. So basically, you get a free use of your Bardic Inspiration that you only use if it works. So that's kind of a really good ability. Again, it's just a shame that it comes to 14th level before you get, but that is definitely an increase in what you had before. Overall, the Bard is a real mixed bag, I would say, in this UA. And I don't really get what's driving a lot of the changes they've made. It seems to weaken the Bard at lower levels, sort of giving them a broader array of spells to choose from, but restricting what they can actually prepare. So if I was playing my Bard and I had to change it into a 1 D&D Bard, I wouldn't like it. I think the overall changes weaken the Bard at lower levels and take away a lot of the skill monkey generalist feel of Bards into, now you've got more expertise earlier on in, a few things rather than a broad area of expertise, which you're not getting until 7th level, which is, that's mid-levels. Not a big fan of the changes for Bard. That's all for this instalment of Man's Model Moments. Please like, subscribe and share this video if you enjoyed it. It's the best way of helping me to grow the channel and produce more content like it. With that, I hope you have plenty of modelling moments of your own, and I look forward to welcoming you on the next video.